Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Brothers Talk About. My name is James.
I'm Chris.
And now we have finally finished the
Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, a phenomenal... No, I'm just playing. We're not going to act like we loved it. But there was a lot of shiny moments in this show that I enjoyed.
Like the number one, the one.
I have to say, spoiler, our favorite part, definitely the mods.
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
No, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, like a banda. Classic. Yes. It goes that, then the mods. Obviously, you gotta love the mods.
Yeah, you gotta love the mods. It's like the second coming of the Power
My favorite
Rangers.
one was the one with the Bic lighter.
Now, this is epic.
She was pretty sick. All I'm gonna say is that.
The spin they did, though, in the finale,
I ain't gonna mention, that was too rad. That was too rad.
Oh, man.
Okay, so...
They were going so fast.
So we finished each episode. What we're gonna do here is, last time you caught us talk about Book of Boba Fett, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But we talked about episodes 1 through 3. And now we're going to be covering episodes 4, 5, 6, 7.
I want to build this up
so
too for a second. So the last video we did with episodes 1 through 3, we weren't that impressed, and I have to tell you, we still.
This show is a show of peaks and valleys.
It's literally like a roller coaster.
This is a show of peaks and valleys. There's some highlights and then some dumpster fires.
The very next episode we were supposed to do a video on was episode 4, and we have to say, the next episode that we followed up with was good. Episode 4. It wasn't great, but it was going up, and it was good. Episode 5 was the peak of it all.
Yeah.
Episode 6, I mean, come on, it's episode 6. It was really good. Then the finale, it's a mixed bag.
But listen, we'll talk about it all. So we're going to start it off. We're going to try to spend a good amount of time on each episode, but not overcrowd our thoughts, which has been said. I'm sure you guys have all heard about it, but we're just going to give you our thoughts on it. So, episode 4... It's basically the entire episode is a flashback, but it's, I think, a very crucial moment for the Book of Boba Fett show. It is showing us, what happened before we met him in Mandalorian, and also getting us some backstory about maybe kind of what's been up with him since he escaped the Sarlacc pit, and since the Tuskens kind of left that tribe after everyone got killed. So he is now basically a man on a mission. He's after his armor at this point. He meets up with Fennec Shan. We see how their introduction. We see how she then gets brought back to life after that episode in Season 2. Right? That was Season 1 or Season 2?
It was the end of Season 1, and you've seen that end credit scene.
Wow, that's crazy. Boba Fett is now trying to get back the fire spray, which is his ship is the slave one, but the model is the fire spray now.
They call it the fire spray.
And so the whole episode basically is it's kind of almost like a heist, like an Ocean's 11 style heist, sneaking in, finding out the plans on how to get into Jabba's palace, and then getting the ship. So that was cool. I liked Fennec Shan's tech and how she was utilized in this episode. So what do you thought about how they introduced and how we found out how Fennec Shan got introduced?
I thought it was cool. It was kind of random that I don't know how long she was laying dead there for, but when he walked up, and this guy's Boba Fett's just too friendly of a grandpa.
He's too good of a guy. He's a great guy. I love him.
I like him overall, but I don't like how nice he is. I know that's weird to say, but he's just like petting the bantha like he's a dog, like it's his best dog. He's like, yeah, buddy, you like that? You like that? He's like basically like all up in there. He's riding the bantha. He picks this girl up. He don't even. Oh, I think he does know because he says you're Fennec Shan. So he picks Fennec Shan up, brings him to what's this guy's name? The
Tiger Cat.
Tiger Cat. He has that one bomb song I really like.
Wait a minute. Let's let it play.
All right. Anyway, that song is sung by this guy who I found out afterwards in the credits. I was like, oh, what the heck? He's in the Star Wars universe now. So he was the one that did the modifications. Boba, he's like, oh, appointments only, and then he drops money, and he's like, oh, you should have started with that. So it was kind of cool seeing the process of what she went through to become whole again and alive. So she basically was like, all right, I'll only help you out for a little bit.
So when he helps her out and they finally get into Jabba's palace, I liked the kind of break-in part.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. That was a cool concept, and the way that they did the droids that are the chef's droids, actually those were kind of cool to me.
Yeah, it was like one was like your General Grievous.
Yeah, the General Grievous one was actually pretty cool.
And the little one that ended up becoming a worker.
The mouse hunter.
Yeah.
So that part was alright. Whatever.
It was a pretty good action scenes.
I liked it. Yeah, when they finally get to the Slave One ship, I liked all the action that was going on. But the only thing I was wondering is to me, since Boba's had this ship for so long, I was kind of surprised on how, like, obviously it's tight quarters, but I feel like he probably would have known probably how to get himself out of that situation better. So they kind of like made it almost seem like he really didn't know how to fly it, which, whatever. Maybe he just hasn't flown it in a while. But the way that they did it, I just liked seeing finally the slave one back, because this is the first time we've seen it in the show so far. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I really like the scene with them trying to get the guards off the slave one.
Fennec Shand
fire
was
spray. So that was cool. There were some points where I'm like, how does Jabba's palace not have good security better than this? Like,
listen, bro, they got the pigs, they got the Gamorrean guards, and they got
episodes beforehand. Chrysanthemum breaks in, no one notices. He's in, and even when Bib Fortuna is running the joint,
they really need to get in contact with like ADT and like get some personal security.
Yeah, state. Anyway, moving forward, I don't know if you want to jump from there, but basically when they escaped, that was cool and all. When they were flying over the desert and stuff, and they went to the Sarlacc pit, I thought that was
cool.
Kind of cool. I like how close they got, and they were like searching for. Well, they were searching for.
They were searching for Boba Fett's armor, because he doesn't remember. He was all disillusioned and all kind of like out of whack when the Jawas took his armor, so he still thinks that the armor's in the Sarlacc pit. And so the way that they now go into it, this is where like some of the budget from previous episodes, some of our complaints that it felt kind of cheap. This is where I feel like the budget kind of started to finally come into play. Yeah,
but even with what we got, while it was good, I felt like I still would have loved to tweak it more and done things a little differently. But so far, out of the first 4 episodes, this was the number 1 episode of the series.
For sure. So we see that then they do they're going into the Sarlacc pit. The Sarlacc grabs them. It leads to a really cool moment where we get the awesome, like, the Star Wars holy sound, the sonic boom,
the charge,
the sonic charge that blows up from Attack of the Clones, and then you sing it in Book of Boba, Mando season 2. That sounds so iconic.
Fire in the hole!
I wish I had like really high quality like Dolby audio speakers to hear it. Wow. It just sounds so good.
Yeah.
But so that was cool seeing that callback again. And then also once they finally break out and they realize that they don't got the armor, I believe it leads right into that scene when Boba's hunting down the speeder gang with the slave one. Dude, that was badass. That was actually really cool. I like seeing that, and it actually showed Boba doing some action.
I wish he did that in the finale. I know, to jump ahead, I wish the slave one came more into play as the series went on. And kind of really only shined in this one episode.
But so that was cool to see.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. What are your thoughts on kind of the whole Sarlacc?
Yeah, pretty much summed everything up. I can move along.
All right, cool. So, I believe that kind of leads us after that point. They believe it leads right into the Boba Fett waking up after the bacta tank.
Yeah, I can't remember if there was anything.
I believe that's about it. So he wakes up in the bacta tank. Obviously, he took out that gang because he believes at that time that they killed the Tuskens. That's why he took out avenged the Tuskens. So I believe at that point, Boba Fett wakes up from the bacta tank. My boy got a bubble bath again. He's looking clean. He's feeling fresh.
I think this is the episode they told him that he was like he didn't really keep taking bubble baths.
I was like, wow, already
your healing's complete.
This is already a 10 out of 10. No more baths. And so after that point, he now goes to meet Chrysanthemum because he needs to recruit them because he's realizing that he needs some muscle.
Yeah.
And so he goes to recruit Chrysanthemum. That was sick. I love the moment where he's like, you know he's about to do something in that bar. Like, he's staring down the train.
It was taking a little while. I was like, come on, this is like you know what he's going to do. Just do it.
Do it! So it's a call back to A New Hope when he's like, oh, he'll rip your arms off. And so bang. So he rips out the arms of the Trandoshan. That was pretty sick. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, he could have passively just went away because the lady was like, listen, you're the great Chrysanthemum.
I like that, though. He's like, yeah, praise me, and then yoink.
I don't know. I feel like, it was alright. He should have had that type of visceral energy in the finale. My boy got, like, tackled by those guys.
Yeah, he got neutered. Like, the mods did it to him. The mods took his nuts.
No, but everything, I guess, if it really wouldn't have mattered because if those people hung around that canteen anyway, they probably would have all died anyway. So
True, spoiler alert. But, so yeah, that pretty much is where the episode ends. He recruits Chrysanthemum, and it ends off with Boba Fett talking to the rest of the crime families of
all around
Mos
Espa, yeah.
And they all kind of,
what a bunch of dirty
after
pigs.
talking to each other, they all agree upon the fact that they won't help Boba, but they will remain neutral. So Boba Fett has to do everything himself, but they will remain neutral and they won't side with anybody. So that's what they told Boba Fett, and that he's like, all right, that's where the episode ends. For me, I really enjoyed the episode. The action in it was really nice. It was intense. There was a lot of good moments, and also the callbacks were fun. And I think it was at that point the most enjoyable episode by far. So for my rating, I'll actually give your thoughts and I'll give my rating.
I don't think there's really much I gotta say. I was saying that this one was getting me more excited to see. It ended with this one ended with the Mandalorian whistle with Fennec Shand and Boba Fett on top of Jabba's palace, and you heard that Mando whistle, and I was like, oh snap, is he coming in? And man, did that deliver. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I gave this episode a solid, I don't know, I'm always around the 7 or 8 region. I'd probably give it around a 7.5. Like, for this show, in my personal standards, it was more closer to like a 6. But like for the show, for so far what we were watching, it was closer to a 7, 7.5. Probably a 6. I don't want to jump around. I'll just say 7.5.
So at that point, I was like so psyched that I finally enjoyed an episode so far. That was the first episode I actually like walked out enjoying.
Yeah.
And so at that moment, I gave it a solid 9. I loved it so much. But after
that's pretty high.
I know, but I loved it after being so depressed.
It got you happy.
Exactly. So I felt really happy with it, and especially with the idea that Mando's coming in. Yeah. I was psyched.
Okay.
So right. I'm gonna give it off now. What I'd rate it now, I'll probably give it like 7.5, 8, around that point.
Okay. Moving on.
Episode 5. So now episode 5. All right. I know you're hyped. Get into it.
This was the best episode, and it's sad. I'll share you why it's sad. Because this episode felt so different from the way it was filmed,
it did,
to the pacing, to even how clear it looked. It looked like it was straight out of we kept talking. We were saying like this is Mando season 2.5, or basically this could have been the first episode of Mando season 3.
I thought I hacked my Disney Plus and we got like the first like credits of like season 3.
I thought they accidentally uploaded a season of Mando episode before in the middle of Book of Boba Fett. Mando stole the show from here on out.
For sure. And
it's sad because it's called the Book of Boba Fett. So while I like seeing Mando, and I wouldn't have minded maybe one whole episode, the whole thing, Boba Fett wasn't even in this episode at all. Fennec Shand came in at the end, which I honestly got to the point where I was like, you know what? It's kind of a relief. While the last episode we were enjoying it, it was so far superior compared to the first 4 episodes. It was like we were watching Mandalorian again, which is such a better show, and the way it was executed was so great. Bryce Dallas Howard, was amazing.
And I'm going to say, to be fair, Boba Fett stole the show in an episode of Mandalorian, but you gotta keep in mind, that was season 2 of The Mandalorian. We had already had an entire season, plus a good 4 to 5 episodes of Mando, before Boba even got in.
Yeah.
This is the 5th episode of the Boba Fett show, a character that we have been waiting to see do some stuff since Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
He got taken out in Return of the Jedi, and we've been waiting 40 years to see it.
Mando was balanced with Boba in that one episode. Because
he was. And you gotta remember, that was an episode that was so crucial for the Mandalorian story. It was Baby Yoda getting captured. So it was a huge, important episode in the Mandalorian story. This had nothing to do with Boba Fett.
I think that this episode was just beautiful, though. Like, honestly,
so good.
In the Book of Boba Fett, it's sad that my favorite episode, a spoiler, it's my favorite episode. It was just so, I was just like a little kid in front of it watching it, like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. The way he came in and attacked everybody with the Darksaber. It was just, he gave I can bring you in warm, I'll bring you in cold. It just kept moving, and you kept watching it, and the way it was shot with the one shot, with the camera tracking him into the elevator, the music, the new planet, the lighting, everything was just crisp.
Dude, I thought Master Chief was about to come in.
Like Cortana, like I thought he was like looking for that. I'm like, and then you got to see him meet up with the armorer and the heavy infantry Mandalorian. That dude was so sick.
The way that they built the story of this episode was so like you're just saying.
It was like a season 1 premiere opener.
Exactly. The pacing was so fluid. From like you said, the introduction when he goes to collect the bounty. And he's using the Darksaber. We finally get some
good action with that.
Yeah, some good stuff with that.
It's heavy, though.
Yeah, exactly. So you can tell that he's not really used to controlling it, but everything about it was brutal, it was intense, and it was actually so sick to watch.
And he cuts himself, and he's limping. And that was cool. I mean, it was sad that he cut himself, but honestly, I was like, oh, man, that's gonna play into
it. Just shows you. So then, as he said, it leads into that awesome. Just Bryce Dallas Howard did a phenomenal job.
I really
cannot wait to see the future of what she does as a director, and also what she does in the Star Wars
I'd love for her to team up with her dad and do like a spin-off series of
maybe
something.
Maybe Solo 2?
I would love to see the continuation of that, but honestly, she did such a good job with this, and I know there's other people behind it too, so it's the writing and everything. But this was just so out of place. It's almost unexcusable why the quality of the rest of the show couldn't follow this format, being with Boba. Just to jump around for a couple seconds, it resolved and talked about things that were left on the edge of the finale of season 2 of Mando, reuniting with the armorer. He got rid of his staff, melted down things for Grogu. He got a new ship. He went back and met some old characters. There was Easter eggs. There was he saw the squadron guys from Navarro, wherever he was.
Yeah, basically, it just was a Mando. It was a completely, it felt like you just said, Mando Season 3. This would have been the perfect premiere.
It's sad because it's just supposed to be the Book of Boba Fett, and I don't mind that Mando's in it, but when you have such a short, limited run, I think it would have been better. I don't honestly want to complain because I'm saying, it's my favorite episode. Yeah. I just loved it so much, but it's sad that we couldn't get... I don't think Boba had that type of impact on any of his episodes.
He didn't.
The way Mando did in Boba Fett.
I liked I will say, just a side note, but not really, the Mando content that they did in this episode is really, makes me very intrigued for Season 3. I'm very interested to see what they have in store for us, because the way that they have the story written out, definitely Mando is on a quest now to redeem himself. He wants to get back into the Creed. This is the way. He needs to redeem himself, and in order to do that, he has to head to Mandalore. So that's gonna be really cool to see that first time in live action ever going to Mandalore. Even though we did get a flashback, which that was
Rogue One
very Terminator vibes in that one, like the T-800s. But the way that entire episode was just filmed, everything about it was sick. The fight with Paz Vizsla, that was super cool. That was a very gladiator, 2 warriors coming at it. I like how Mando didn't deny that battle. He's accepted the responsibility.
He was training for heavy, and he's getting tired of swinging the sword, and he's like, I think I should take that.
He respected the responsibility of the Darksaber, that he knew he has to be loyal to it, where you have to, if someone challenges you to a battle, you have to battle to keep your right to own it. That was cool.
I'm looking forward to what they do next, honestly, because this just got me. That episode was just such a treat to see. And
best way to put it.
That little bit of disappointment being like, this feels like we're getting this too early almost. But honestly, you're like, it's like getting a gift early before Christmas. Like, you really, you want it, but at the same time, you want to savor the moment. Yeah. So it was what it was.
That scene, though, I want to mention, when he finally gets his new ship. You mentioned it earlier, dude.
Oh, it was
that
so
ship
great.
was sick. So the only thing I'll say was I thought the montage of him building the ship was a little long, and I'll mention why I think this in a minute. So when we get to episode 7, I can reveal why I thought this. But so we had this pretty 5-minute long montage of him building the ship. But the fact that it was a maybe, but it was a episode 1 callback.
The Blue Starfighter.
I always loved that ship, and the fact that we actually got a new carnation of it, and kind of almost some it felt cool to get some prequel stuff, and then also the fact that he flew it through the pod race, the exact path Anakin went,
the cannon,
and he was zooming. That was really cool.
And I love when he was like wizard.
That was
how I summed up the whole episode. It was like freaking wizard. And I like how the little Jawas where he's like, how do you guys get this? Where are they getting it from? I love Jawas, so I love how they as much as they really love to throw in Jawas and Sand People the most out of both shows. It
makes sense the way it's Tatooine, so it does make sense.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to mention was that one moment when he gives that droid the Darksaber and all of his equipment. I'm like, why is he giving him the Darksaber?
I thought something was gonna happen. Yeah. He was gonna go have to run for it, Same. A heist. That episode felt to me like I always want to see things that feel like when you're playing a first player bounty hunter mission on the old GameCube games or stuff like that. That felt like one of those type of storylines when he's going through on the new planet, trying to he got the bounty, he brought it to those people, they followed it.
Was just a perfect narrative flow.
It really was magical.
Flowed so well. But not to go on this episode too long. Obviously,
it's just our favorite.
It's our favorite. It was just so good that we can just talk about it all day. But to move along, I believe that's about it for that episode.
Yeah, it ends with Fennec Shand saying, and Boba saying he needs his help, and he's like, I'll do it for free. And inclining that he's gonna go see Grogu because he's like, I gotta go see a friend first. So that was really cool.
this episode again was definitely the best. I instantly gave this episode the seal of approval of a 10 out of 10.
This one, I was telling everybody and their brother, I'm like, listen, even you haven't watched this show yet, you got to go and watch it right now.
It's funny because you could absolutely skip the entire 1, 2, 3, and 4 and go right into episode 5 and not worry about nothing.
Yeah,
because it's a continuation
you
of
could just watch a little
2.
recap of the first 4 episodes.
Really? But, so what would you rate your rating of this episode?
This one has to be close to a 10. Probably 9.5. Maybe if I had to pick it apart a little bit, because to get a 10 is like perfect of perfect, but because of what this was in this show, it's right around easily a 9 or a 9.5.
Nice. Alright, now we move on to episode 6. So, this episode, at one point, I absolutely, like, geek out and love everything about it. And then, on another hand, I just, like, am almost, like, bothered with why things were put in this show. But, to kind of...
so critical.
To move through it, it opens up, I believe it starts off right with Mando arriving at this planet. I believe that's how it opens up. And basically that's the point of it anyway, so if it doesn't, that's basically where it starts. So Mando arrives on the planet, he's looking for Baby Yoda, Grogu, and he has the armor for him now, and he meets up with R2-D2, he lands on the planet, we see R2, I'm like, no freaking way.
When you see R2, you're like, oh...
Luke's short to
not
be
far
followed,
behind.
not far behind. And so we see R2-D2, I'm like, oh dude, I was like, I'm already like geeking out, like, oh,
Mom,
I'm getting sweaty, I was getting hot, I was getting a little itchy. I'm like, God, you met Luke, But, we finally now we see this, like, what looks to be the
Jedi
the foundation of the Jedi Temple.
Like from The Last Jedi when you first see that getting built and stuff, so that was pretty cool.
That was cool. So we see the, Mando is now waiting.
Spider droids that are building.
He is now waiting to meet Luke and Grogu. Basically, R2-D2 was like, alright, you're gonna wait here.
Yeah, they made him a little bench.
And now, okay, this is the point where I lost my crap. So we see Grogu meditating. You see Luke with him.
Hey, he's back. But Luke looks so clear.
I couldn't believe how good they actually got it.
What an upgrade from the deepfake CGI that they had from the finale.
What they did was they hired a deepfake artist on YouTube. His name is, I believe, Shamook is what he goes by on YouTube, or that might even be his name. I'm not sure. But they loved what he did because he actually redid the deepfake technology that was in the end of season 2. And the fans loved it so much they actually hired him to work for ILM, which is pretty impressive. So he's now working at ILM.
Is it sure that he's the one that did it?
He's the one that did it. So he's the one that...
Good for you, Shamook.
He's the head... He is now the head designer of ILM. So he's not just Star Wars Lucasfilm. He's the head of ILM deepfake center. He's like the head of it now. So he made this... Dude, Luke looks so good.
Really good. When he was meditating, there was only a couple shots that we were talking about that kind of looked a little different. But when he's walking, when he's talking, it looks so much more like Mark Hamill than it did in the finale. And the voice, even that sounded good. A little robotic, but almost it made sense, like it sounded like how a teacher would speak to a little kid.
And also, Mark Hamill's portrayal as Luke, especially at the Return of the Jedi point, he's very stoic. He's very peacefully calm.
Yeah, I think it really was good how much time they gave him. Another thing, how Mando stole the last episode, Luke and Yoda, Grogu, stole this whole episode, and it was just so good to see this. But again, it felt so out of place. I'm like,
why are we getting this now?
Boba Fett was in this episode for like not even 30 seconds.
So Boba Fett made a cameo.
He made a cameo in the Book of Boba. That was crazy. Unmasked too.
We can honestly, I hope for more of this Boba Fett guy. Hopefully we can get him another cameo in the future. But so we see Luke training with Grogu. All that was so cool. The mouth movements, I feel like they improved that a lot. So while he was talking, he was able to show more emotion. Yeah. We won't talk on it too much, but they just improved that so much. I just can't get over how awesome it was.
And the interaction, Ahsoka came.
Yeah, Ahsoka shows she's talking with Mando. She's like, listen, he's like, I want to see the kid. She's like, listen, if you go see him, you're only going to prolong his training. He's like,
his attachment.
Yeah, he's like, do you want to see him? Or does he, like, do you really feel that he needs you, or is it that you need him? And so she's like, if you go up to him now, you're only going to send him back further. Like, he's going to need to recoup even more. Yeah. So it's obviously taking Grogu a long time to readjust, I should say.
I felt like, it's I don't know how long exactly time has passed from when you last seen him, but it felt kind of quick. But I guess I understand, if I was in that relationship, I guess I would want to check in on him. And he made him those little, what we found out to be at the end of the episode, the chainmail armor of Beskar. So that was cool. Sick. And not to jump ahead, but the training scenes were very reminiscent of him with Yoda, obviously, with the same backpack, and he's flipping and everything. And the roles were basically reversed. He's training Grogu. You see him jumping around. He's like force jumping.
He's pulling some like prequel era Yoda
stuff.
movements.
All the frogs. That was cool with Luke.
Yeah.
And the interaction with Luke and Ahsoka. That's the first time ever that you ever see that in live action canon form. So.
And she makes a call back to Anakin. Yeah, he's just like your father. That was
some of the lines were kind of like a little bit like on the nose, but
yeah.
But
it felt like
it was cool.
If fan service was an episode, this would be it. Like this is like fan service manifested in a physical form.
Yeah.
But I loved it so much. It was really, really well done, and the way that they were able to present Luke Skywalker was what I wanted.
Yeah.
But my biggest complaint is, why is this in the Book of Boba Fett? This is episode 6. We have now gone an entire 2 episodes without even seeing more than 5 seconds to 30 seconds of Boba Fett. Yeah. Like it's not
bizarre,
right. It doesn't make sense.
I didn't mind it at the same time, because I mind it to one degree because I'm such a big Boba Fett fan that I'm like, why you're taking up his spotlight? Like, why are you doing this? Make him. He doesn't have a solid episode besides a little bit of the last one he was in yet. And then the very next episode is the finale. So I'm like, what are they doing?
What are they going to do?
They're going to cram so much into one episode.
The fact that we got Grogu returned so quickly, I just don't like how it felt almost that it cheapened the ending of Season 2 of Mandalorian. So I feel like bringing Grogu back so quickly, the whole point of the arc of the Mandalorian story arc, his first basically major arc, was delivering Grogu to his kind, aka the Jedi, aka Luke. So to have him come back so quickly, I think it's been like a year since Mandalorian Season 2, to have him come back this quick, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right with me. A little rush. It's just like the fact that it all led up to that, and to come back so quickly, they should have given him at least half a season without him
by himself.
Like just Mando. But whatever, it's what they want to do. Grogu makes the big bucks.
He's too much of a big, deep pocket, money-making toy.
You throw that kid on a lunchbox and throw him in a waffle maker, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Isn't it over there?
Yeah, bro. I got one.
Yeah, sure.
But,
flex it.
But, so, basically the episode kind of wraps up. Mando is like, alright, fine, I won't do it, I'll leave. Ahsoka gives Luke the armor, and I believe we don't really get much besides the last time we get another Mando scene with Boba is when Mando basically comes in. They're talking about the plans, what they need to recruit more muscle, and Mando goes, alright, I got you, I can do that. He goes to meet up with Cobb Vanth, and at that point, Cobb Vanth's like, you know what, I don't really want to do this, we're a free town now, we're on our own, we're not a part of this. Spice doesn't bother us, but then Mando convinces me, he's like, yeah, listen, guys, even though it's not bothering you now, it's going to bother you in the future. These guys, like, Cobb Vanth had witnessed it firsthand. He had stopped at the beginning of the episode, he had stopped the Pikes from dealing spice. So
I don't know how they didn't see him walk up to him. He's in the
really sad. That was so funny. There's nothing around. He's in the middle of the desert, and I love how nobody in this show, everybody walks.
Why would you do your spice deal out in the open like that too, in the middle of nothing?
But like everybody walks in the show. They're walking around.
Star Wars,
bro. Their cardio.
They use trains instead of spaceships and everything else, and like very slow Vespas. Anyway, but the ending, there's 2 parts to the ending.
Yeah.
The ending, it flashes back to Luke and Baby Grogu, but then right before that, dude, this is why the icing on the fan service cake. Freaking Cad Bane shows up with what's the title of the episode? It's like From the Desert Comes a Stranger or something.
Yeah,
like that.
One thing I have to mention, this episode was directed by Dave Filoni, and you know when Dave shows up, big things happen.
Big Dave means business.
Yeah, Dave means business. When he shows up, big things happen. He introduces his big characters from Ahsoka to Luke.
He's got
to
his
now
hat all on. He's like, ooh, wait.
So he comes in, he's flaunting himself, he's walking up all high and mighty.
Yeah,
like,
very Western, like.
He's like, no more.
His voice.
Yeah, dude. He's such a cool character. And the connection between him and Cobb Vanth, the classic Western showdown with the camera pans, and like, I feel like I should have heard like some kind of Western.
Yeah, like a little tumbleweed.
Exactly, there should have been a tumbleweed.
Dirty Dan.
0 out of 10, no tumbleweed. But I like that a lot, and the way that they had their draw. He shot the deputy, shot the sheriff, but he killed the deputy. He didn't kill the sheriff. I don't know. The song goes some way. Cad Bane kind of reversed it. But that was cool. So what do you think about Cad Bane?
dude, he's freaking Cad Bane. I didn't have an issue that he didn't look exactly like how he did in Clone Wars. People have to realize that show, everybody looks exaggerated. I mean, look at freaking Count Dooku, for example. I mean, they're elongated, weird faces.
I'm pretty sure Palpatine's face is shaped like a Dorito in that show.
I mean, whatchamacallit, I get that his shade of blue was off, but time has passed. He's in the desert. His skin's gonna get a little dry. He ain't using Neutrogena. He ain't lotioning up. He's in his 70s or 80s, I think, in the timeline of the show. So, because he was training Boba Fett when he was a kid, and Boba looks like he's in, he's a senior citizen, basically.
Listen, maybe he's been laying off the blue milk.
He's laying off the blue milk. He's lactose free, so he's a lighter shade. I thought his face and his nose and his teeth and his eyes, you could tell it was Cad Bane. The voice, everything was cool. He didn't have the rocket boots, which kind of aggravated me. But maybe he broke his hip or something one time, and he can rocket boot around.
Maybe he was out of fuel. Seems to be a common theme.
I feel like it's a theme that people just are very conservative with their fuel. So.
Hey, maybe Joe Biden exists in their timeline too, and maybe gas prices are so high for them they can't. I'm just playing.
Anyway.
But so it ends off with that final thing,
and he gets shot. And
oh yeah, he does get shot.
Cobb Vanth
is he
shot.
dead? Is he alive?
So now the people of Freetown are kind of screwed, and it ends with Luke and Baby Yoda. Why do I keep saying that? Grogu. He's like, all right, Grogu, you have a choice. Here's your choice: red pill, blue pill.
Dude, and he whips out freaking Yoda's lightsaber. How
He's
cool
like,
was
this is a lightsaber.
No, Yoda's like, Grogu's like, give me that.
It was cool. I kind of knew by them doing that. I didn't know if it was gonna wait till the next season of something, or if it was gonna pay off right away. But I knew that he was gonna go with Mando. I just felt it.
I felt it too, but I was hoping as soon as that ended, I'm like, please save that for Mando season 3. I don't want to know yet, and we need to go back to Boba Fett. Yeah. No Grogu. He's gonna steal the show. No man, like a little bit of Mando. No Grogu.
Yeah,
save that. Save that, and especially no Luke Skywalker, because oh god, I will never care about Boba Fett again. If Luke showed up and Luke was like throwing down, I would have
loved to see that though. To be honest,
I would have like probably like peed myself and also like been ticked. I would have freaked out.
But for what we saw, it was cool. It ended. What was the exact ending shot? Was that it?
That was it. That's how it ended. It ended on that twist, and I was like, wow.
I was like, wow, another killer episode, like back to back. There might have been something we forgot, but
that was basically it.
These last 2 episodes were like, oh,
yeah,
totally different though from what we've been watching. It really feels like it was from a different show. It feels like midway, the writers were like, yeah, guys, I don't know, the show's kind of sucky right now. Like, what should we do? Like, I think we should give them a little taste of Mando.
People like that Grogu thing, right?
Yeah, that Grogu thing makes money. Like, hey, Johnny, check the stocks on the Grogu HasLab project that's coming. Oh yeah, boss, we gotta get. Oh, Beskar sales are going through the roof.
We still got that green puppet in the back. Bring him out.
No, we got that rough draft for season 3 of Mando.
Oh, yeah,
let's shove it in here so they get happy. Because we're not gonna scrap the show. They probably spent like, I don't know. I don't want to hear that they spent a bunch of budget on the first 4 episodes of
Bro, they're Disney. They got so much money.
It felt like a freaking fan film. And these last 2 episodes, 5 and 6, felt movie quality. So
now we can move into... I mean, come on, dude. 2 episodes bangers? This next one's got to be... I mean, you got to finish it off with a triple banger, right?
Yeah, but I feel like they have a hard time. I was like, I don't know if they're going to be able to wrap it all together, but...
All right. So now...
By the way, that episode probably was... a little less for me because there was just something so magical about that one. I would probably give it, if I gave the last one, like a 9.5. This one was probably an 8.5. 8.5, maybe 9.
I'm gonna hit this one with a solid. I'm gonna hit it with a solid 9. I enjoy. Actually, no, that's not true.
It's an 8.5.
Solid 8. Solid 8. Final answer.
What? Yep. Not even 8.5.
Solid 8. Solid 8.
The Force isn't strong with this one. I don't know.
Only because I don't like that they rushed.
I get it. And it was a lot of talking and a lot of downtime.
But hey, I don't mind it. But it was a good 8. 8's a good number.
It is. All right,
now you
not for the Star Wars movies. It sucked. It's the worst one, but yeah.
Hot take, definitely true. All right, not too hot though. It's like a little warm. So now we can move on to
the finale.
Okay, you talk about it. I don't got much good to say.
Who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
You talk first. You bring it up.
Okay, so I would say because I like the finale a bit more than he did. I'm a little less critical because I'm like, you can't really expect this show, although you would think it would be a banger from the last 2 episodes. You have to go back to Boba's plot. He's coming in, and unfortunately everything they do with him, the stupid pikes and the bikes and everything else under the sun, this whole weird stupid. My apologies, guy. Frickin's in it. I'm like, you know, this episode ain't gonna be amazing. So, I'm not gonna break it down for you. I'll just say that I liked it. I thought it was good. There was ups and downs. Every part that he disagrees with, I pretty much agree. I just think that it wasn't terrible. It was a good episode. It was enjoyable to watch. There was just a lot of things that happened in it. I'm like, really? Why is this happening? And why didn't this happen instead of this? So I'll basically just nod my head every time he goes through it.
All right. I feel like a boxer, like just like warm, like put me in, coach. All right, here we go. All right.
I just wish Boba was different, man. I just wish they didn't make him how he was.
So my biggest complaint about this episode, I felt everything. If you were to read me the script of this episode, I'm like, dude, this episode's gonna be pretty cool. It sounds good. The way that Robert Rodriguez, he's the one that directed this episode, and everyone so far that he directed, I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed what he did with Mandalorian, but I didn't enjoy what he did with the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So this episode, I felt was very. It just felt, in all honesty, thinking about it, it kind of felt like maybe one of like the fifth Spy Kids, because none of the main characters ever got injured.
Machete should have came in.
None of the main characters got injured. There was a lot of perfect little comedy beats. Robert Rodriguez must have loved. A lot of like heavy coincidences that were just so perfect. And a lot of very not very exciting action.
Yeah,
and underwhelming moments.
I agree.
So basically, I'm just gonna go right to the point where the battle happens. So we see finally the battle's about to happen. Mando, instead of Boba Fett going to his armored castle, which he recommends, but no, Boba Fett's a pushover now. So the Pike girl the Mod girl tells him, hey, listen, we should stay here to protect the town. Because even though we were, like, robbing people in this town, we care about it now. And we care about this town, we want it to succeed, and the Pikes will only destroy it. So now, they're like, we're going to fight here and protect here. Because even though they want Boba Fett, they don't care about Mos Espa, they want Boba Fett. Instead of going to the castle to bring the fight to the castle, they're now going to fight here to protect the town.
All right.
Okay, whatever. So none of that made
sense. Boba
sense.
Fett's staying. He's telling them, all right,
okay,
I'm a man of my word.
They have nothing. They separate everybody into their own parts of the town.
I hate it.
They bring the Pikes in the middle of nowhere. They have Black Chrysanthemum in the middle of nowhere, not on a balcony, prepped up, being ready for a battle. He's in the middle. He's in like holding up a sign, like Chip is spinning a sign, marketing the bar next door.
Exactly.
But he's in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Trandoshans, which he just got done ripping the arms off them. So why would they put him there? Whatever. Then they bring
the stupid Vespa people.
They're
going
riding, they're
so slow,
whipping
looking around like they think they own the joint.
Then you got the poor pigs, the poor
Gamorrean guards near the trains. What are two Gamorrean guards
by
gonna
themselves?
Do? The whole thing was so dumb. They're in this dumb. Oh, we missed to say how that cantina exploded. I mean, I remember
we
mentioning.
just say it right now.
Last time I didn't give a crap about that cantina exploding.
The only thing I cared about is that they didn't take out my boy.
Oh, Max Rebo escaped.
My blue elephant Max Rebo.
Yeah.
He wasn't there. Yeah. He was caught safe.
Yeah.
I don't know what. It's kind of sketch though. What did he know? How did he know
to
be there?
He's like, they're like, oh, listen, Max,
you don't want to be there.
You gotta get out of there today, man.
Listen, don't come to school tomorrow. So he wasn't there, and now they're like, all right, whatever. That's a side point. So now they're in that abandoned bar that's just blown up. There's of course no bodies there.
Boba's saying so many annoying lines I can't stand.
But I just don't like how Boba's a pushover. His helmet
is off.
So now
bothering me.
So now they send out my apologies guy, the assistant, to go negotiate with the Pikes. They negotiate with the Pikes for a distraction. So they're trying to think of a plan. But I did like one thing that Mando said. He's like, you know what? If you're gonna go out there, we'll die in honor, like a samurai. They're like, you know what? We'll go die for you. I'll die for you, bro.
And we'll slowly.
He says we'll die for you, and then like 20 minutes later, in the middle of the battle, he's like, all right, thank you for that, Mando. I'm gonna be right back. You fight them. I'll be right back. He's like, I'll die for you, but I'm gonna leave.
All right.
But that was funny. And then so now it goes into this big fight where we lead into now the negotiations with the Pikes. So the Pikes are now negotiating. Now all negotiations are off. They ain't having it. My boy Boba and Mando, they come out with the jetpacks like they're mowing the Pikes down. Like,
that was a good scene. First good scene so far.
But then why did they get rid of their high ground? They had high ground. They could have flown around them.
I didn't know if it was like the video games where they're running out of jetpack fuel.
Listen, once again, things are expensive nowadays.
Listen, jetpack fuel's going up. It's like a lot
inflation.
Of credits.
Gotta love inflation. So now they're fighting, but they get rid of their high ground. They don't listen to Obi-Wan. They don't understand the high ground's the advantage. They go to the low ground.
I hate how Mando doesn't have his ambient rifle. He just has a little sidearm. He's like trying to shoot everybody with that rifle thing. I'm like,
and so
Boba's out here. I like he's finally using the knee rockets and other things like that. And basically, swarms of these pikes are just coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Before this, though, you forgot to mention he met with Cad Bane. Cad Bane,
but that had no effect on the episode, which is sad. There's so many moments where there's no effect on the actual episode because he just disappears.
Cad Bane tells him though that the pikes were the real ones that killed the Sand People, and Fennec Shan's like, "Don't, Boba, you'll have your time. Don't, Boba." And he goes away. Then all of a sudden, like 5 minutes later, everything happens. It's like, really? What the heck is happening?
I'll mention I have a problem with that later on.
And these freaking 2 giant droids start coming.
So the droid Takaz, they come in, the advanced ones.
Things.
They start blowing everything up. These things are like huge robots with shields, and they have like 4 turns. It's like 8 turns in total, and they're like blasting dudes down. Then all of a sudden, they don't know how to aim anymore, and nobody gets hit once, and like they're shooting the ground.
And they're like waiting till they're right on top of them. It's just like,
dude, so many things that's like.
And I hate the amount of times that everybody in the town kept shooting at them, like, and nothing was happening.
They shot that bubble a million times, and then as soon as the bubble goes down, they stop shooting.
But like, why do you waste your ammo on something when you know what nothing's doing? It's like, that's a lot of damage. No, nothing's happening.
Yeah, call Phil Swift.
That's a lot of damage. How about a little more? That's a lot of damage.
But so now the people of Freetown, after Boba and Mando get wrecked, the people of Freetown come in. They save the day. Everyone goes behind. Oh, we forgot to say that during that attack, we got Black Chrysanthemum. He's getting attacked. He gets mowed over.
He was one of the only people that were. I mean, Boba and Mando were getting hit, and they're like, and they're like getting hit with their Beskar. And what the Freetown people were the ones that come in and save them.
Yeah,
so I guess if Freetown didn't come, I guess they'd be pulverized barbecue pieces of bacon.
They would, but who is pulverized bacon? My boys, the Gamorreans, they got thrown off a cliff.
Yeah,
they got like straight up Simba, bro. They got not Simba. They got Mufasa. They thrown off the thing. Scar swiped them off. Nobody was. Andrew Garfield should have been there to save them.
They got yeeted, bro.
Andrew Garfield should have ran up. No, like in No Way Home, but he should have saved the Gamorrean guards. And then so now that Andrew Garfield didn't save them, they're dead.
The pikes are just like move.
Yeah. Get out the way. Now we have the big fight going down. The droids are coming in, they're blowing everything up. And now Boba's like, listen, Mando, let's fight them together. It's nothing. None of their attacks are working on these battle droid shields.
It was so annoying because this is the part where it's like it's cool to see some action, but it's also like crappy action.
I found all the action.
The pikes, those mods come in. They're like, yo, we got this. They're like, chick.
Their bikes are still so slow.
I think they crashed. I'm like, good, crash. Kill all the mods. I'm so mad that they didn't kill the Twilight. My apologies, guys. I wanted them to die.
I was praying that when the mods were getting shot down, that like they would get taken out. Just take out them. Like, you kill the Gamorreans, kill the mods.
Alright, but rush it along. Hurry up.
Alright, so to move along, we got the Battle of the Century. The Pikes and their droid versus the mods and the Freetown people. They're shooting at the shield for no reason. They're like, let me get the high ground. They stand up there, they do absolutely nothing on the high ground. They're still shooting a shield. I think that they
the girls talk to each other like, listen, I used to live a little block down there. This is the only spot we could stay.
Okay,
like,
I think that they
need a good weapon.
Maybe the top had a hole in the bubble. I don't know. They got high ground though. That's a key. They know. They don't. Mando doesn't know, but they know high ground's key. So they get their high ground, even though it's ineffective.
Wasting ammo. It was just so stupid. I hated that whole part.
All right. So basically,
and it was unrealistic how long that they weren't getting blown.
So during that time, Baby Yoda comes back. He knows in the episode he's with that
junkyard
lady
who dated a Jawa.
And so they're all together. They're doing their thing. She doesn't hear any of this gunfire going on, but she does bring Grogu. She's a good babysitter. She brings Grogu into the heat of the battle. Mando's like, "What are you doing, kid?" And she gives him the nice hug. I kind of teared up on that. When he gave him that hug, I felt the embrace.
I was cool. I felt like Mando was like out of the moment. He's like, "This magic."
Dude, I wanted to hug Grogu. I'm like, dude.
He's like, Dad.
So after that,
and then he jumps and he catches him. That was cool. And then basically to rush it along, Grogu was like jumping. He's like jumping out of the way, and he's like, "Yo, I got this." And he does.
My boy Grogu
magic. I knew as soon as they brought him into the battle. I'm like, Grogu's coming to save the day.
I was so hoping that he would like completely just destroy or crumple that droid like Luke does to the troopers in season 2. Like they crumple into each other. That would have been sick, or maybe blow them up or something.
He's not there yet.
He's not there yet. He got a little bolt. He helped him out.
And then, but Boba
Fett.
He went away. What point? I forget what point he went away.
It's about right when he leaves Mando. So Mando brings one droid, and basically right at that point. So he leaves and he comes back. Want to talk about how he comes back?
Not on a banta. He came on a Rancor. And he came, and it was kind of cool.
It was cool. So the one thing I mentioned earlier about Mando building his ship for that montage, I wish we could have gotten a scene like that with Boba Fett riding the Rancor. Yes, he has grown things, and he's an experienced rider. I'm pretty sure, like, hey, if you know how to ride a horse, you probably can ride an ostrich or something. So the things are pretty similar. I understand. But it would have been cool to maybe see a cool training montage of him learning how to ride it and having it understand him.
I thought there was going to be something like that.
But
I felt like that could have been in the last 2 episodes if it wasn't about Mando.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing him come around, and he was doing damage and making the shields go down. So between the Rancor and Baby Yoda, they got those droids taken care of.
It was cool.
And then what else happened?
So that basically, it kind of wraps up. Once they take out those guys, everyone's kind of just chilling. And then all of a sudden, after all that, Cad Bane strolls up again. And he's like, "Oh, Boba, you don't know. He's like,
out of the blue, he just comes up back into the scene like.
So I don't know why he showed up.
You're cold-blooded killer, man, Boba.
Yeah, so he tempts Boba Fett, and Boba Fett gets his butt whooped, but then he remembers the staff training, which I wish there could have been maybe a montage in his head he could have remembered, and he could have
magically had the staff too. I forget when it appeared, but he just had it on his back.
He did have it when he came with the Rancor.
With the Rancor, okay. So he grabbed it when he went to the Rancor. So he was smart. He brought more artillery. I feel like if he came in the fire spray, though, he could have dropped bombs and vaporized everybody. But I guess the one thing against that is that it wasn't really doing anything against the droids. So
that makes sense.
The Rancor.
All right, so to finish this episode strong. It doesn't end strong. Spoiler alert. I don't think so. So I think that the fight between Cad Bane and Mando, Boba Fett was cool, but I think it didn't have enough weight to it. I think it could have been filmed if it was filmed more like a samurai battle or more of a Western standoff, or maybe a combination of the two. Mm-hmm. It could have had a more impact and more feel to it. It didn't feel very visceral. It didn't feel
very quick.
It felt a little too rushed for how big of a character
Cad Bane
is. He's pretty sick dude. So they kill him off. At least that's what they make it seem like, but. People online are speculating that he's actually still alive.
I don't get how that would happen, but I guess no one's ever really gone.
No one's ever. Good callback. It's a good line. I think it would have been better story-wise if they had swapped the roles of the Pikes. So they mentioned that the Pikes killed the Tuskens, but I think it would have been better if you had set up that the Pikes hired Cad Bane to kill the Tuskens, only because the fact that it would have had a better emotional weight if Cad Bane had been the one to kill them, and Boba had to take vengeance and revenge, or avenged the Tuskens in their namesake against Cad Bane. It would have had a better poetry, would have been a better story, and I think it just would have had a better conclusion, had more heart or weight to that scene. But whatever, it is what it is. I think if you're not a Clone Wars fan and you don't know the relationship between Boba Fett and Cad Bane, there wasn't much there. So if you don't know that, you're kind of missing out on half of the emotion.
Like, who is this guy? Why is he here? And
you really don't even know. So I think that casual fans, they won't really understand it, just kind of be like, whatever. So, whatever, not everything's meant for casuals.
For as cool of a character as he is, I just wish that, I hope if he is dead, they maybe bring him back where, in a point, maybe they tell a story with him.
There's a long time between
because he's a cool character. I never finished the whole arc of Clone Wars, but I grew up watching him back in the day when he first got aired in the show. This guy's gone up against Jedi. He's a top bounty hunter. And I felt like he was just underused. Yeah. I liked hearing him talk, and I liked the scenes he's in. He was impactful. He had a presence. I hate the Pikes. I hate the Squid. The Hammerhead guy. Mm-hmm. Everybody else just bothered me. It just felt like a big waste of time. The battle just wasn't anything special.
And then I'm gonna how it ends. Basically, it ends off with Fennec Shand going out, and she takes out. That's where she was kind of missing from that battle. She goes to take out the remaining leaders because everybody turned. We mentioned it, but we didn't. Everybody that said that they would remain peaceful turned on Boba Fett, and she went to go take them all out.
Yeah.
She took them all out one by one. At that point, I was thinking it was Boba Fett, but I guess it does make sense that it was Fennec because of how she left. Mm-hmm. But I think it would have been more rewarding once again If Boba was the one to do that, just to give him a moment. He didn't really have his moment in the show, in my opinion, so that would have gave him one. And it basically wraps up there. It pretty much finishes. She takes him out, and she takes out the Pikes. Everyone's basically gone. But
yeah, so everyone in Mos Espa basically betrayed him, and he even says to Mando, because he finds out that when Black Chrysanthemum got tackled by those guys like very quickly, I feel like he was very nerfed. I just didn't like that point.
Yeah.
So everybody was turning on each other. So you had the Pikes and the other people teamed up against Mando and his crew. Mm-hmm. They really didn't stand a chance. Mando was like, "Oh, there was a good choice that they did that." I mean, like, "Oh, they were smart," but it's like you didn't think that they were gonna maybe do that. It just didn't make sense. But it wraps up with seeing an end credit scene that Cobb Vanth is in the back of the tank.
With Tyrant's hat, they're bumping beats.
Because I guess he had a shoulder hit, but I don't know. Some people say he got there, but I don't know if it was the stomach or whatever.
So
but
I think that the mods are actually going to give him his very own biotherm thermometer so he can check his meats. And so that's going to be his useful mod tool that he can like read the temperature, making sure his meats are all cooked. Exactly, so he can make sure everything's temped. Because he likes a nice and medium cooked bantha. So that could be a good mod, I think. It would work well with that.
Oh, he said that one time?
No, I'm just playing.
I remember the scene when they were taking the cuts of meat of the crate dragon. I don't know if he did that.
Yeah, who knows?
Anyway, so this episode, it was cool to see what was happening, but overall, the story arc of this finale was just very lackluster and very stupid, and I just didn't really like it. I felt like it could have been wrapped up better. There could have been higher stakes. It just didn't seem... The whole spice thing bothers me with what they were doing, and I feel like there was a way around everything.
Yeah.
Underuse of Cad Bane. Really underuse of Boba Fett and Mando. And...
Yeah.
Cool to see a Rancor act like King Kong, almost. That was cool. That was cool. The most... We've never seen a Rancor in action before, so...
So, for this episode, I'm going to give it the rating of... I really didn't enjoy it, as I've made it known. I didn't enjoy this episode. I gave it a 4. Actually, I'll give it a 5. I'll be fair. I'll give it a 5.
I'm going to go back to... It has a little bit of an edge just because of the amount of characters in it over the episode 4 of Boba Fett. No. I would put it as the third best episode just because it has what it has in it. Although I do think episode 4, for being just solely with Boba, I think it did more for Boba's character. But I'm a sucker for like a Civil War storyline where everyone shows up. So... It was there. So in my order, I think it goes for... I gave this one probably a 7.5. 7, not an 8, but definitely a 7.5. For me, I just wish it would have turned out differently, so I agree with everything he was saying, but it goes episode 5, episode 6, episode 7, episode 4, and then I think maybe 3, 2, 1. I just didn't like the first episode. The first episode was such a letdown to me. I was just like, I can't stand this one.
So before I give mine, I want to know what your guys is. That's honestly, I'm really interested to see what other people think about this show.
I feel
I've
like
heard some opinions.
A lot of mixed opinions.
There's a lot of mixed opinions. So let us know.
From the community, most people, unless you're like, listen, you're just gonna be just grateful that we got this. It's really good. I mean, the vision that Robert Rodriguez has, it's very nice. It's very reminiscent. He's on a good path. They're doing really well. Or you'd be like, bro, you had one job. Make Boba Fett great again.
Either go big or go home. They should have went home.
They just made him still and mediocre.
Yeah.
I'm happy he's not dead. I'm happy he still exists in the universe. I'm hoping that he expands his character role in other shows and helps Boba he helps Mando in season 3 because I guess really the star of the show is everything about Mandalorian.
Yeah, so my quick rank would be episode 5, episode 6, episode 4, 2, 7, 3, 1. That's my order.
Well, that's really all over the place.
It is all over the place, but hey, calculate it and you'll understand it. You might agree. Let us know again down in the comments. So, as a whole, I'm going to say that I didn't enjoy the Book of Boba Fett series. I thought it was amazingly mediocre. I thought this show was, like, sadly a disappointment in my eyes. I really didn't enjoy it. I could have went without it. I think that everything that they did with Mando, which is what I enjoyed, could have been done in season 3 of Mandalorian, and everything that they did with the Boba Fett storyline could have been done in a 3 hour long episodes. All that could have been condensed if done better, or even just make it longer. Give me a longer series and make it just more entertaining. So I'm going to say I didn't really enjoy this series. I'm going to give it as a whole kind of, since it includes the Mandalorian episodes, I'm going to give it a higher point. Without those, it would be much lower. I'm going to give the series as a whole just a 7. I didn't really enjoy it. Maybe a 6. Somewhere over there.
I was happy we had it. I've seen worse. So and being a Boba Fett fan, even sucky Boba is still better than no Boba. So I liked it. I just wish that we could get farther with our advanced creativity. I really think they should consult more people before they okay these things. And I probably feel that Disney and Kathleen Kennedy obviously had to have a touch with ruining this somehow.
I don't know. It was John and Dave.
If it was solely up to John and Dave, I don't know what you guys drank that day. I swear you were just strumming your guitar with him on a rock and smoking something, because I'm not sure what you guys were doing. But sniffing bantha fodder or something. I think the show was definitely, if it didn't have Mando and Luke in it, I think the show was probably a 5.5, 6. With the whole thing, wrapping it up in some type of makeshift present gift, like, here, take this is what you get, I give it right around a 7.
Alright, so we went with the 7. I'm going to downgrade to a 6. 6, 7, a combined score of about like a 6.57. That's what we'll give it of our grand total. And so yeah, let us know again what you thought of this series down below in the comments. What would you rate it? What was your favorite episode? Top episode? What was your least favorite episode? Give us all the rankings, all your thoughts and opinions. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed hearing our thoughts and you would want to hear more, subscribe to the channel.
Thank you for watching this whole thing if you did. If you did watch the whole thing, let's come up with something. No one ever follows this, but like,
if you are, you're committed and I appreciate you. Give me a good like a bantha, yeah. But make sure you put yeah at the end of it. So we know.
Yes.
Like a bantha. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Until next time.